guys, it's Cami, and in today's video I'm gonna be doing something a little bit different than my usual videos and what I usually post on here, which is like more lifestyle, fashion content, and even like book videos. In today's video, I'm gonna be talking about dealing with feeling inadequacy and like feeling like you're not good enough and like what to do about this. So I think this is something that like a lot of people have struggled with, including myself, and especially like for my demographic of people who may or may not watch this channel, of like teenage girls or people between the ages of 18 to 24. I'm currently 18 now, so I would be at the tail end, at the beginning of that demographic. This is something that I've personally dealt with. Yeah, a lot of people that I know have like dealt with this in one way or another. I'm about to graduate high school in less than a week, or about a week, which is pretty crazy to think about because of the pandemic and everything. During my freshman and sophomore year, during the pandemic, it feels as though I've been in high school forever. So it's crazy to think that I'm literally gonna graduate. So because of this, I've done a lot of self-reflecting of what perception of myself, or like what I think about myself, and like how to deal with my insecurities and stuff, because like everyone has them in one way or another, whether it's something like mental or physical or even like spiritual, that are like insecure about. So I'm gonna start this video by asking a question. The question is, have you ever felt like you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, or you're not smart? I know I've felt this way before. So this is something that I'd like to cover in this video and try to give some advice on what to do about this, even though I myself don't really have it all figured out. And like, if you know me personally, you probably know that I have like struggled with like confidence and like being insecure and stuff, as like a lot of people have. This is like a pretty universal thing, and it's not like a rare thing at all. But yeah, I would say the first step to knowing what to do when you don't feel good enough is to first acknowledge it's okay to feel this way. And you don't have to be like confident and like believe in yourself all the time. Like ideally you would like always believe that whatever you can put your mind to, but that's just like not realistic for a lot of people. A lot of people like deal with insecurities, and there's also external financial situation, or even like disabilities you might have, or like disadvantages you might have because of like your race or gender, that could kind of like get in the way of like achieving your goals and cause you like to have more I would say the first step is to acknowledge that it's a normal human thing to feel insecure, and don't have to be like confident or sure of yourself all the time. A common misconception is that confidence is kind of like the lack of insecurity, but I would say that confidence is more like having insecurities but trying to deal with them in the best way that you can, and like acknowledging that your feelings and insecurities are valid, but they don't have to define you. Don't need to be like this perfect person who like has it all together, since like having flaws, it's an important part of what makes us humans and not like robots or AI or ChatGPT or whatever. I would say the next step after acknowledging that like you're insecure sometimes and you like don't always feel like sure of yourself, is to remember that you don't have to feel this way, and there's a way to be more like confident and sure of yourself. Confidence is kind of something that builds up over time, and it's not something that like happens right away. It's not like you wake up one day and then suddenly all of a sudden you're confident. That's just not like realistic, even though that might be shown a lot in like movies and TV shows, and those are always fun montages to watch when like main character like gets like a glow up all of a sudden and walks into school like super confident, and everyone like heads turn and says like, oh my gosh, who's that? Like they're so cool. But that's not really like realistic to real life. I mean, maybe some people have had that movie moment before, but I personally have never like experienced something like that. You probably heard this cliche saying, and it is very cliche, I would say, but fake it till you make it. And I would say that this saying is not entirely true, but it's kind of like partially true, because confidence is something that like even if it's fake, if you really like put your best foot forward and kind of like embrace this like newfound confidence, over time like this like so-called fake confidence will eventually become real if you really like take it seriously and like try to show up every day, be sure of yourself and sure of what you want, and not to like, I guess, give in to other people if they try to like get you to like change your mind, or like backtrack on what you were saying, and just like being firm in your beliefs, I guess, and not like having other people like tell you along with it. I think this is definitely easier said than done, And I, for one, have definitely struggled with like confidence and feeling sure of myself and not letting like others or even myself kind of like take away from my confidence or like being sure of like what I want to do, the decisions I make in my life and stuff like that. I would say that feeling good not good enough is definitely like a super normal thing. And also like no matter like how pretty, smart or confident you are, you always like have these insecurities. You could be like the most like rich, like successful, like pretty person in the world and they still probably have like insecurities, like probably like some of the biggest celebrities in the world or like famous people or like super rich people or like super like smart like professors or like astrophysicists or whatever, like they probably have like some kind of insecurities too, like feeling like they're not good enough or not smart enough or not pretty enough or anything like that. So basically what I'm trying to say is like external factors won't make you not here all of a sudden. It's something that will always kind of be there, but confident is like trying to acknowledge those insecurities but like not letting them get the best of you. You might think that if you looked a certain way or like you had better grades or went to like a prestigious college or like had like a really good like, paying job, was richer or more successful, you would be happy and you wouldn't have insecurities. But unfortunately that's not true. I wish it were true, but it's not. Like no matter like what job you have, I guess where you go to school or like how you look, you'll always in the back of your mind still sometimes feel insecure, and that's like normal. So I'm currently still in high school, but I won't be in like a week. So yeah, in high school I guess I always felt like I wasn't doing enough, like, whether it's like clubs or extracurriculars. And I think this is like probably partially true because like I didn't do like too many things in high school. Like I participated in a few clubs but was never like the most active member. And I definitely feel like I could have like taken more AP classes or just like gotten better grades in my classes if I would like put more like effort into it. I would say that I got like good grades overall, but there are definitely times where I guess didn't put as much effort as I could have. But anyways, that's not really the point of this video. Because of this, I felt like my grades weren't good enough or I wasn't smart enough compared to my peers. Whether it was like in middle school or high school, like I felt like there's always someone that was doing more than me, which was probably true, which is probably also something that fed into that insecurity. The thing about insecurities is they don't always have to be like 100% not true. Like there can be some truth to them, but that doesn't mean that you should like dwell on them, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I think this is also partially due to the environment that I grew up in, which kind of focused on like academic rigor and like getting the best grades and going to like prestigious colleges and stuff. Even though like a lot of my peers this year have like decided to go to like community college, which is definitely I feel like very different than like 10 years ago where there's like a lot more stigma about that. Even though like there is more planning that has to be done if like you go to like a community college, since like if you want to like transfer in time and stuff. But yeah, I think that is overall a very good option and you shouldn't be like shamed for it. Yeah, this isn't to say that like I couldn't have done more in high school, which I could have, and gotten better grades or like put more effort into my schoolwork. Definitely could have, but that isn't like my grades or something like that, like any external factors like shouldn't define who I am, even though sometimes it still does. Yeah, as I said before, external factors shouldn't like define your confidence and self-worth, because like say for example like the external factors were taken away from you, then what would you define yourself by? Like for example, if you couldn't like define yourself by like, oh, what job you have or like what grades you have or what school you have or like what you look like how you define yourself, like I guess like your character, like your like should be more like internal things should be more important than like external things. Even though not saying that the external things don't matter, because they do and they definitely play a huge factor into our lives, but like I guess the internal things should matter more, even though that's very like cliche, I know. But the next topic I'm going to be talking about kind of like on the basis of like feeling not good enough or like not smart enough, like the academic stuff, is I guess like just like not feeling like pretty enough, whether it's because like kind of like because of Eurocentric beauty standards. Like a lot of people of color, including myself, I'm Asian, would have probably have felt insecure about like not being white or like not meeting the like Eurocentric beauty standards of like having like blonde hair, blue eyes, which is like kind of like the cliche. Obviously not all white people have blonde hair and blue eyes, but you know what I mean. Yeah, the Eurocentric beauty standards kind of like favor people who are like white, thin, and like European, or like and like tall and like yeah, have blonde hair and blue eyes as I mentioned before. Um, and anyone who doesn't kind of like fit into this mold of like supermodel, like Eurocentric beauty, is kind of like seen as like less than, and like their self-worth kind of plummets because of this. Um, However, like I believe, although this is also a bit of a cliche, that like you shouldn't base your beauty based on like what other people think of you. As hard as this seems, because I definitely myself have definitely based like, I guess like my beauty or like beauty standards based on like other people around me and like what others think of you, because yeah, um yes, I've wondered like why I'm like not thin enough or tall enough or pretty enough or something like that. But then I remembered that like that I don't have to be someone else, because like I can only be myself. Unfortunately, like even if I wanted to be someone else, I like couldn't. Like I could kind of change some aspects of my personality and appearance, but like I couldn't be like a different person entirely. And another cliche, I'm sorry with all the cliches, but what you think of yourself kind of matters more than what others think of you. This is because you're the one who kind of has to live with yourself and all the decisions that you make, or like what you decide to do with your life or your appearance or something like that. And other people don't, so what they have to say doesn't like really matter, even though it does still affect you. um yeah, so the at the end of the day, what they think doesn't really matter, since they're not living your life, like they're living their own life. So why does it matter what they think? That's not to say that what others say about you doesn't affect you, or like your actions don't have consequences, and like you can just do whatever and say whatever, because obviously like what you say and do does affect people, and vice versa. But you should prioritize like your needs and like what you want over like other people's perceptions of you, because literally like we like perceive people every day, and like but at the end of the day, like what we think doesn't really matter. As long as like they're happy and they feel fulfilled, then that's all that really matters. So yeah. Also another thing is that on the topic of like not feeling pretty enough, like should like beauty, especially like external beauty and like conventional attractiveness, like be all that matters? I would say no, of course not, but it is definitely prioritized in society. Like pretty privilege, although that is a bit of a buzzword like on TikTok and stuff, is like a real thing, and like people who are more conventionally attractive do like have advantages, whether it be like in the job market, just like walking down the street, or like I guess in general, maybe, or something like that, or just like how others perceive you based on like how you look. Yeah, it is a bit naive to say that like your physical appearance like doesn't matter, since it does affect like how you see the world and how others see you. Like if someone thinks you're um conventionally or physically attractive, then they might treat you better than someone that they deem less attractive, which is a thing that like a lot of people do, whether they know it or not. You might think that, oh, like I treat all people the same, but unfortunately that's not really like entirely true, even though like you might like try to like be as fair and equal as you can. Like there is some like implicit bias and stuff like that. So yeah. Um yeah, and also another thing is that like I guess what like a romantic partner, like even like prospective romantic partners, or even not, just like acquaintances or friends, like um what they think of you shouldn't like define your worth, since like as much as like someone else like might love you or might care for you, or someone else like might think you're pretty, like I guess if you don't think it about yourself, then you're not gonna feel it. Like someone could tell you like you're pretty like every single day, but like if you didn't believe it, then you wouldn't like feel it. And also another thing is that like even though someone like might love you and like might claim to know you and might actually know you, you're the only one, like besides God, if you're like religious or whatever, who can truly know yourself. So like um you kind of know like who you are and like what your motivations are, and other people who like only see what you show them like might not know like the full extent of who you are. So yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a bit different than my usual videos, and it's not something I've really done on this channel before, but I wanted to do more like sit down, like talking videos to like just like kind of like open up on my channel and also get to know you guys. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below what video ideas you want me to do next. And also if you like part 2 of this video, or like kind of maybe like a series on like I guess like dealing with insecurities and stuff like that, or even like a series about like graduating high school, or like my plans or something, I don't know, just like anything, please comment down below, because like I love reading the comments, even though I barely get comments on my videos. But oh, I'm sorry, I barely get comments on my videos, but it's okay since I'm like just starting out or whatever. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and have a nice day. Bye.